The Elite Eight continues in the winner's bracket with a matchup tonight between last year's finalists, the Bear Creek Express, and they now hail from Ensenada, Mexico, the Glowworm. Both teams, Blair Setford, come into Softball City and the evening game with a record of 2-0. And I'm quite fascinated to watch this Glowworm team that pulled off an upset in order to be here. I think that's fair to say in their 2-1 triumph in their last game over the Circle Tap Dukes, as you get a look at the Bear Creek Express lineup that includes at the bottom a story we'll continue to get to, and that's their choice of their starting pitcher and one of the all-time greats in Adam Folkert. As Brandon Horn, the 38-year-old from Waterloo, Ontario, leads things off against starting pitcher Max Montero. And Blair, nobody better to give scouting reports on veteran pitchers like yourself. What have you got for us?
Max has resurrected things the last couple of years with Glowworm. When he left the New York Gremlins a few seasons back, it was thought that Max was sliding out to the end of his career, but he's really thrown the ball well. He mixes speeds more effectively than he did a few years ago. He's always had a real good rise, a real good drop, but boy, he's just got that veteran moxie now.
Well, he was the pitcher of record in the victory over Circle Tap a couple of days ago. Did give up the one run. Struck out 8 in the game. There was a little bit of a control issue, but nothing major. Brandon Horn, on the other hand, is looking for his first hit here at Softball City. He's 0 for 5. He did score a run in their opening game 14-0 triumph over the Walton Brewers. And Bear Creek yesterday with an impressive 5-0 victory over a solid Ostrander Norseman team in game number 2.
Yeah, Sean Cleary looked really good yesterday. Gave up one hit over the 5 innings. Very deliberate, as we know Sean is, but he was picking apart both sides of the plate. Justin Schofield come on in relief, and I think we'll see something similar here tonight. Adam Folkert, I suspect, probably only going to be asked to go 4 or 5 innings.
Horn chops it, but it's foul in the direction of first baseman Carlos Marquez. He's at first. Alex Flores is the second baseman. Guadalupe Ayon at short. Gustavo Prischker, one of 3 Prischkers on this Glowworm team. Salgado, Japanese national Yusuke Morita in center, and United States national team member Yusef Davis is in right. Alex Garcia behind the plate for Max Montero as Horn swings and fouls it straight back to the screen, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I think what Bear Creek will be happy about, Peter, is they produced some runs here in their first 2 games. Offense been a challenge all season long.
And Horn having a quality at-bat past Coach Lynch. He can be worth the price of entertainment himself in a lot of games, including a few that I have witnessed this year, whether it's here or in Simcoe, Ontario, at a tournament back in the late stages of the month of June.
Well, Larry has calmed things down over the years, but that used to be a weekly occurrence in the Travel League back in the day.
Listen, I love characters, so it is not in any way to be taken the wrong way. Backpedaling and making a nice effort is Flores to retire Brandon Horn with the game's first out. Sports could use a little more fire and character, in my opinion, sometimes.
Well, we certainly saw that yesterday from the Oma Tigres. It was Toriyama, the first baseman for the Oma Tigres, the other squad from Mexico that is also into the winner's bracket, and we're going to see them tomorrow.
Looking forward to that again. Really enjoyed their game last night, and his work in particular with a hat pointing sideways, and what a fun-loving and a really good player. When he hits it hard. So does this guy. Travis Jones is off to a great beginning in Softball City. He's 4 for 6. He's homered twice and driven in 4 already in the competition, the 32-year-old.
Yeah, he's off to a great start. He and David Galino leading the offense for the Bear Creek Express. One of the best bad ball hitters in the game, Travis Jones.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear you mention that. And Blair, I always enjoy all the anecdotes, all the years that you've been around this sport and this particular tournament. And now I'm even more dialed in when Travis bats to just think I will not ever watch him bat again, Mr. Setford, without thinking about that comment. That was a pretty good pitch off of Flores, tried to recover, but unable to, as Travis Jones finds himself on base again.
Well, hard hit ball, you'll see it here. Flores makes a valiant effort, taking 2, 3, 4 steps to his right, but it clanks off the heel of the glove on the backhand, and you're not going to get Travis Jones on that type of play. Still runs very well.
And he will indeed be credited for his 5th hit of the event. And 33-year-old Thomas Anoka, the batter, the left fielder, longtime New Zealand national team member, 2 for 7 so far in the tournament. He's doubled and driven in a run. That double and his 2 hits versus Walton, the Brewers, in their opener. So versatile. Jones on his way, a stolen base. And there's really never a chance, Blair, on the pitch for Garcia to make anything of it behind home plate.
No, and so often the catcher takes the blame for stolen bases, but this one is really on the pitch.
Still made it relatively close. And Anoka with a chance to drive in another run. Would you describe him as a glue guy on any team, Thomas Anoka?
He is a quiet leader. I mean, we talked about that with Nick Mullins. It's a little bit different with Thomas Anoka. He's one of those guys who can come in and through the course of the conversation can take over a room.
To the shortstop, Ayon, and talk about the flair from Mexico and Central America, and there's some of it from Guadalupe Ayon to retire Thomas Anoka without number 2.
This is my first time getting to see Guadalupe Ayon. I've heard about his prowess at short, that he is a prolific fielder. Looking forward to keeping an eye on him tonight. Certainly showed a little bit of range and a little bit of flair, as you said, Peter, with that one there.
He just flipped his wrist, and it got there quickly.
Yeah.
It wasn't on a line. It wasn't a rocket over there, but just to get there, how fluid the motion was and the quick flip of the wrist throws an Oak out by a couple of steps, and you can't miss the batting gloves or the prowess of the next batter. That's David Galino, the Venezuelan national team member, and he's just had a marvelous 2024. 26 years of age.
2 years ago, he was with this Glowworm squad and had himself a terrific ISC World Tournament debut and the opportunity to come up and play for one of the bigger squads. And the tournament circuit in Ontario certainly different from the one in Texas and into Mexico. You certainly see more of the bigger teams, and he has certainly performed well on that big stage, David Galino.
Well, Galino was excellent for Venezuela at the World Cup qualifier. Batted .389 there. Here he's already 4 for 6 with a home run and 4 runs batted in. He swung with his free left hand, but took the pitch. You do not see that very often.
No, he just took the bottom hand off the bat, swung it, and held on to the bat with the top hand.
He knew it was a strike. Dealing with a 3-1 and drives this way out of here. Into the trees.
Here's a guy who has spent most of the year batting ninth. his approach at the plate, Peter, he was looking to hit a home run. And that is quite the transition to move up that far in the order, but also to change from being a singles, doubles hitter to a home run hitter. He is something else. I mean,
that's the longest home run of this tournament that I've seen with my own two eyes.
Like, that's a power swing. He knows it's gone. Easily clears the bleachers, the perimeter fence. Boy, what the capabilities that this kid's got. He's just getting started, too.
He's just 26. Made such an impression, I know, on myself earlier this year in that tournament I've referenced in Simcoe, the Hill United Cheese Challenge, back in the third week of June. The two guys, they've said it a couple of times, it really grabbed my attention in that event. And, of course, the Gremlins, all the best guys. But some of the guys you're not as familiar with, Galino and Milheim, were the two real jump-out-at-me type players, and they've certainly had great years. That is some smash by Galino to open a 2-0 lead for the Bear Creek Express. That one might be in Cloverdale. Bolan up the middle. Aeon gets the job done. Not before David Galino launches one into the trees. And Glowworm trails Bear Creek by a pair, coming to bat.
Well hit, deep right field. It's curving. This one, well hit to deep right field this time, and that one is gone. Trying to put it away is Jack Besgrove. The New York Gremlins are world champions.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Start spreading the news, Joe Todd. It's New York, New York.
Well, David Galino, to say that he went deep would be an understatement, and he's given one of the greats of all time a 2-0 lead. I don't think that's unfair to suggest. Adam Folkert gets the ball, the 37-year-old superstar, in his winding down days. And there, Blair Setford is the lineup that he will face, with American national team member Yusuf Davis leading things off. Folkert, of course, will pitch to Ryan Boland, Hillhorn, Galino, and Mikolas Claus from Czechia around the outfield. It is Anoka, Pomroy, and Walsh. And here's not an easy question, but one I'll ask. What do you think Adam Folkert has left at this point?
I think, as I said off the top, he's going to be asked to go 4 or 5 innings, hand the ball over to Justin Schofield. It's interesting, we were having some discussions in one of our committee meetings earlier this week When Adam Folkert was at his best, it was with Jason Sanford catching, and they threw 80% drop balls. Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, Yusuf Davis is in all kinds of difficulty.
We need medical help on Diamond 1.
That got Yusuf right under the brim of the helmet.
And I don't know how in this case you could actually justify him medically staying in the game for a while.
Well, Adam Folkert over to say sorry to Yusuf Davis. They shook hands. Obviously that got away from Adam up and in.
Well, Yusuf Davis, the right fielder, he's got to come out, Blair.
Under the concussion protocol, I think at the very least he would have to sit in, they talk about the quiet room for 10, 15 minutes. That's part of that concussion protocol training. But he's going to go sprint.
I know athletes are big, strong people. And when we looked at the replay, I do think it got a touch of the brim on the helmet. I can't really imagine how he stays, but it looks like he might stay in the game. Hope he's all right. I've told myself for 40 years I should never play doctor on TV, radio, or streaming. But people's health in that area, frankly, a lot more important than a ball game on a Tuesday night. But Davis stays in. And Japanese national team member, center fielder Yusuke Morita, swings and misses at the first offering from Adam Folkert. As Davis, well, you know how he made his way to first. Let's leave it at that. That might have got a bite at Ryan Bolan off the bat of Morita, who's 0 for 8, somewhat surprisingly. Blair, as you know, he had a really good tournament a year ago. He was 8 for 17 in Denmark, Wisconsin. 3 multi-hit games, tripled, homered, drove in 4, and has been very good for many years for the Japanese national team. Played in the last 3 World Cups, 22, 2019, and 2017.
He's a guy who's been over here in North America for several seasons. He played with Ashland Mets going back several years.
On the ground to Folkert, but off the foot before it got to him. Well, at least he says it was off his foot. The umpiring crew has a different idea.
Well, they're going to have to, they're going to get together and ask for help. Yusuf Davis alertly went up to second base. Seen this a couple of times where it's a tough call for the home plate umpire, but if the base umpires don't immediately call it, I'd be surprised if they're going to overrule it here.
Well, we have the luxury.
This is a great angle right here. And it does hit the front toe. At least it looks like it right there.
That is terrific camera work.
Todd Adenaway now is out to talk with the home plate umpire.
which very likely means Morita is going to have another opportunity, I think. Or is he?
Well, I don't know.
There's
No, he's not.
a stronger reaction from the Glowworm coach, which tipped the scales in what we thought might happen and what did.
I mean, that's so hard for any of the umpires really to see, because you're talking about a fraction of a centimeter.
You needed to be able to have what we have.
Yeah.
To make that decision. And a 2-0 Bear Creek lead, a David Galino monster blast. No better way to put it, that went into the trees behind the second fence. Alan Salgado is the batter. The left fielder, who's 3 for 7 here at Softball City with a home run and a run batted in. He'd love to cash in his second with Davis, and I'm still amazed, Blair, after what we just witnessed, that he has stayed in the game. That was absolutely terrifying to watch. Ball right up in the forehead area. And Folkert still throwing with some juice.
Peter, that home run you talked about for Alan Salgado, that was the difference in their game on Monday morning with the Circle Tap Dukes. Top of the 9th inning, solo blast. They win that game 2-1.
Drop ball. Swung on and missed by Salgado, who was 4 for 12 in this event. He played in the last World Cup for Mexico that country participated in back in Prague in the year 2019.
Peter, that drop ball is Adam Folkert's best pitch. If he can locate that in and out, that was his bread and butter in his prime.
Past the diving Miklas Claus. Davis has great speed and he'll score, and elected to dive head first. An RBI, his second of the tournament for Salgado. And it's 2-1 Bear Creek.
A good bit of hitting. He just pokes the bat out here and past the diving third base. Miklas Claus can't get it, and he's a big, tall guy, too. If he can't get it, nobody's going to. Tommy Anoka, I thought maybe was going to have a chance, but maybe didn't have a good grip on the ball and ended up running it in.
Gustavo Prischker, and he is plunked. Prischker, who had an outstanding U.S. national tournament that wrapped up not this past weekend, obviously, but the weekend before. One of the top players is hit, and it's the second batter that Folkert has hit with a pitch, and he's only faced 4 so far. So an interesting beginning to this one, Blair.
Well, I thought the pitch that he hit Davis with, he really tried to hump that up. Like, he was overthrowing on that particular pitch. He wanted to come inside with a hard rise ball. This one with Prischker, it looked like he just lost it.
Well, he looks at the armband for the signals and delivers.
So I don't know whether Adam is struggling with the footing, but you saw him look back immediately after he let go of the pitch and it crossed the plate. Just not comfortable out there right now.
Carlos Marquez, the batter, the first baseman, 1 for 8. And he homered in the game against Circle Tap as well. So it was 2 solo shots that provided their 2-1 9-inning triumph in their most recent game.
So that'll be the Charge defensive conference there as Folkert called out Bolan. And you do note, Peter, that they're using the wristband. This is something you see a lot in the women's game, especially in the college game, the NCAA. Australia uses this, and Folkert must have got comfortable with it, particularly here in the twilight hour, where at times it can be tough to see. And it's just a comfort level.
Well, it can be interesting, too, and we're not going to show you. But in a lot of situations at this time of night, or even when it gets darker, catchers won't give signals, Blair, between their legs. They'll go up in the chest area with the numbers.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier to see in this case. And they do use it a lot. Their national women's team, who was here participating in preparation for the Women's World Cup that was held earlier this summer in Italy, they used it exclusively.
Jaden Stratford last night had every finger taped with white tape around the tips, the catcher for the Kegel Black Knights.
He's an impressive young player. Folkert almost fell and may have hurt himself as he strikes out Marquez with a second out and his first strikeout of the game.
So clearly the footing is not to Adams' liking.
And now the athletic therapist comes out again. He's the busiest guy in the park.
Yeah, Chase Brunton for Bear Creek. I believe it's Chase.
Came out quickly to attend to Yusuf Davis as well.
Todd Adenaway just came out on the trot as well. And he's having a face-to-face here with Adam Folkert. If Adam's not right, you don't want him out there jeopardizing himself for later in the tournament. Justin Schofield got up in a hurry, and he's throwing with some urgency down in the bullpen for Bear Creek. If this is an injury replacement, Schofield will get the time that he needs to warm up.
It's going to be.
That's going to be it for Adams. Clearly something not right with the veteran from Australia.
What a wild opening inning, and we're not even done. There's still an out to be had as Gloworm, still with runners at first and second and 2 out, as Justin Schofield, the 34-year-old from Grand Pré, Nova Scotia, a Canadian national team member, will make his way towards the circle for a second consecutive relief appearance, Blair, and we'll fill you in more. Quite a start in the nightcap of Day 4.
Sometimes people worry about asking for help because there can be a stigma around mental health problems.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
They might believe that asking for help means admitting that something's wrong.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Some people worry about how others might see them.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Asking for help means that you want to make changes and take the first steps towards better mental health.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
We should celebrate the courage it takes to speak up and make changes.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Getting help is part of recovery.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Mental health isn't something you need to keep to yourself. Talk to a friend. Trust your teammates. You're not alone.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
The first steps may be the toughest, but knowing where to look for help is a good start. Community mental health organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association or Mental Health America offer resources and programs that can help you. Visit cmha.ca or mentalhealthamerica.net to find a branch in your community.
And remember,
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Justin Schofield replacing the injured Adam Folkert. 5 batters in. A run has come home on an RBI single by Alan Salgado, who finds himself at second base, and Schofield, in his second consecutive appearance, he threw 2 innings in relief of Sean Cleary in their win yesterday, and Cleary is up and throwing now himself. Schofield, no runs, no hits in those 2 innings of work yesterday against Ostrander, the Norseman. Struck out 3, walked 2. And you know he'll bring it. That is a given.
It looks, when you watch Justin Schofield for the first time, like he's putting every single fiber of his being into every pitch.
Always describe it the same way. Throws every pitch like it might be his last. Justin Schofield. I'll write that bio for him if he ever writes a book. That should be in the foreword. Ball and a strike to Edgar Prischker, the designated player, who would love nothing more than to tie the game or better. Change. And that's the second Bolan bite of the night, courtesy of a foul ball.
Well, he actually shook that one out a little bit. It must have got him up on the right leg.
He is one tough son of a gun, Ryan Bolan.
Without a doubt.
He was banged up in the game yesterday.
He and Zenon Winters, the 2 toughest guys in the game, I think.
Ball and 2 strikes to Edgar Prischker. Edgar let everybody know what he thought of that call. Schofield comes in. There's an inning I won't forget for quite some time. It had a little of everything, including 3 runs. It's 2-1 Bear Creek over Glowworm in the final winners bracket game of the day.
After 1 completed.
Dreamcatcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
There's one of my favorite shots in all of sport. The ocean in behind. Just a special place for the sport of fast pitch softball. Softball City, Surrey. After what I would refer to as not exactly a run-of-the-mill 35-minute first inning. Injury, a home run that went into the trees, a pitcher leaving with an injury, a couple of hit batters. Outside of that, nothing's occurred, folks, but delighted to have you with us, no matter where you might be tuning in on this Tuesday night here on the ISC network, and the great work done by Softball Premier TV to bring it to you. Colin Walsh, the 31-year-old Newfoundlander, one of the most versatile players in the game, are right up there. Up the middle will test Guadalupe Ayon. Blair, you don't teach it that way, and only few can pull it off.
No, you are born with that particular set of talent and skill, And he's had 3 ground balls already and has handled every single one of them with aplomb.
How about the range he shows off on this high hopper, well in behind the bag, and then off balance,
yeah,
at least to us.
A sidearm sling with some velocity on it.
Yeah, you don't teach your kids to throw it like that. It won't work out that well, but it certainly does for Guadalupe Ayon. Impressive. Another young, impressive shortstop here in the tournament. This is an impressive longtime veteran in Jason Hill, who swings and misses. The 39-year-old from St. John's, coming off a good day against the Ostrander Norseman. Doubled and drove in a run. He'll turn 40. Sorry, Jason. If only I could turn 40 about 8 days after you do. Not so much.
Just doesn't seem to work out that well does it?
No, it doesn't. Not the best, but it's working out great. Look where we are tonight. Great spot, beautiful ballpark, pretty pleasant evening. The wind is settled, and we've had a wild start to this winner's bracket game. By the end of tomorrow night, we'll be down to the final 4 in the winner's bracket. The New York Gremlins have advanced.
The Elite 8 split up over 2 nights. This is the first of those 2. The Gremlins, as you said, Peter, already advanced a big, let's call it convincing, for lack of anything
that's one
else.
word for it.
13-1 win over the Grand Prairie Pirates. They'll play the winner of this game on Thursday. Tomorrow night, Hill United Chiefs and the Northeast Drillers will try to join them.
The Oma Tigre involved. They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them take on the Hill United squad.
The Drillers have been impressive in their first 2 victories. They might be the sleeper for me. And I don't know if you can call a team that's ranked in the top 4 or 5 a sleeper, but right now anyone not named the New York Gremlins and Hill, but Hill, they don't feel like they're at that level right at this very second. However, we're a long way away from deciding anything, and you can't ever forget about that.
No, I 3 weeks ago, after the Ashland tournament, I would have given you even odds on the Gremlins, the Chiefs, and the Drillers. And then just in those ensuing 3 weeks, at the Elkland tournament and then at the USA Nationals, it's like Secretariat. The Gremlins just pulled away from the pack.
Well, they've been beyond impressive, and let's take nothing away. Grand Prairie's a pretty good team.
Yes.
And they just absolutely manhandled them. And I like that Grand Prairie team a lot. They're gonna be a tough out for anybody the rest of the way. But that was some show. And Max Montero with a good show in the second as he sets down the Bear Creek Express 1-2-3, including a couple of back-to-back strikeouts of Jason Hill and Nicholas Claus. We'll head to the bottom of the second.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill in the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer Tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at deankane16@gmail.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
Alex Garcia, the catcher, leads it off for the Glowworm. They used to be the San Antonio Glowworm. Now they reside out of Ensenada, Mexico. At least that's what it says on the roster sheet.
Oh, they added a sponsor to their program. They picked up a sponsor. This team has been around for a number of years, operated by the Rios family. That's David Rios in the first base coach's box. One of the nicest guys in the game, and a game full of them. I know I say that a lot, but David is a special, nice guy. Correspond a lot with David over the course of the off season and during the season too. But it's always been a family-run operation, and they found a sponsor based out of Ensenada, Mexico.
And Alex Garcia, the catcher, tried to hit it way out of here with that swing, but misses. Schofield came into the game, faced one batter, and struck out Edgar Prischker, the designated player, to end the bottom of the first. Schofield, the changeup. Told the story yesterday about how he used COVID to completely change his mechanics. Really helped his ability to throw the rise in 3 different areas of home plate. Better pitcher now than maybe he's ever been.
Oh, it absolutely made a difference, because that pitch right there, the rise ball that he can get guys to chase up and out of the zone, was not in his arsenal prior to COVID. You could eliminate the rise with Schofield and focus on the drop. He's always had a great change. He had that back in his junior days coming into the men's game. But he's absolutely a better pitcher post-COVID.
Well, he was excellent for Canada in a third-place finish behind Argentina and New Zealand. And while every time you think about Canada moving forward, pitching is a concern, Blair, but you talk to people around that team, and I was lucky enough to watch every pitch of that event that they played. They didn't like how they hit. They were very disappointed, understanding that there's going to be 6 or 7 different Canadians there when the actual World Cup, not the qualifying event, is staged next July in Prince Albert. But even with the group, they were not happy with how they hit the ball. Guadalupe Aon, a mile in the air. And Jordan Pomroy, who is on that Canadian national team in Prince Albert, is there to take care of business.
Well, Canada had the advantage of knowing that they were hosting and had an automatic spot in the World Cup. So they were able to send a quasi-development team and get a look at some guys in a pressure type of situation. New Zealand and Argentina brought basically their A-teams. And especially for New Zealand, they couldn't afford to finish outside the top 2.
They couldn't because of their 8th place finish at home in 2022.
Yeah, they've fallen considerably in the rankings, and the priority that the WBSC gives to their rankings in terms of issuing invites meant that they had to finish in the top 2. Otherwise, they couldn't rely on getting an invite.
No. Couldn't rely on their ranking to leave them in a wild card spot based on what had happened in the most recent World Cup. Now, that's not the only event that figures in the WBSC rankings. I can rank that rise ball. It's been really good. Schofield with a third strikeout in the 4 batters he has faced. And it remains 2-1 Bear Creek in this final game of day number 4.
2, Gloworm 1.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Medios. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago
Maybe he gets asked to go
and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
Jordan Pomroy, the Bear Creek young center fielder, facing Max Montero. And Blair, you noted, looked much more comfortable in inning number 2 than he did in inning number 1.
Well, my question will be, which Max Montero do we get here in inning number 3? A great second inning, and that's a great recovery inning for him because right now he has to focus on keeping the door closed for Glowworm and let them try to claw their way back into this one.
Well, he only made one real mistake, and it ended up in the trees off the bat of David Galino, who might have hit the longest home run of this particular event. It was an absolute blast.
Yeah, certainly in contention for it.
And it won't be the last one of its nature before the end of this great week of fast pitch softball. We'll crown a champion here, all things good with the weather, come Saturday evening. Jordan is 1 for 5 in the first 2 games. He does have a run batted in. Hits this relatively well to left, forcing Salgado almost right back to the fence in order to retire the center fielder.
Gave this a ride. Peter, you noted the other night here that the ball doesn't seem to carry quite as much as the temperature drops a little bit, the wind dies down a little bit, and just nighttime falls here at, and I keep saying it, beautiful softball city.
Well, you probably can't really say it enough. Look at the setting. It is about as good as it gets for Diamond Complex. This, of course, where we've been, the main Diamond. Nice crowd for this second game, as Brandon Horn takes a strike from Max Montero, who's given up the 2 hits and does have a couple of strikeouts to his credit. Horn popped out to second base to start the game. Brandon Horn would be called, in my estimation, a gamer. He's 38. He's been around a long time. Doesn't he just scrap his way to stay in a good spot?
Well, I mentioned the story the other night. His addition to our Toronto Gators team,
as he grounds out.
Back in 2016, he really made the difference. I think you also used the term the other day, a glue guy. And he's one of those guys that just makes every team that he's gone to better. Great defense, consistent. I've always liked Brandon in the 2 spot as opposed to leading off because he's so versatile at the plate.
Well, Travis Jones is in the 2 spot, and Travis is hitting as well as almost anyone here. Maybe not named Eric Ochoa today, who in the earlier 13-1 victory went off for 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in, which is not the 8-run batted in game that was delivered in the 2023 tournament, but not far from. And Jones tied up on that inside rise ball from Max Montero.
Yeah, Benny Anoka with that 8 RBI game in the 3rd place game on Championship Saturday last year, setting a new standard in the ISC for that one. Eric Ochoa, close.
That was in a 14-2 victory over Hill United, if I'm not mistaken.
It absolutely was. In fact, that was a walk-off to get to the 12-run differential in that one in the 4th inning for Benny.
Ball and 2 strikes. And Jones is 5 for 7 so far this week. So he's been an extremely difficult out. And he has some power in that bat to boot. Choked up on the bat. And doesn't get cheated.
No, he always takes a full cut.
You talked about one of the better bad ball hitters. The other note from this side of the booth is he doesn't get cheated very much, and he's not alone in that category. He only had 4 official at-bats in 2023, didn't have a hit. Boy, how things have changed in 2024 for the 32-year-old.
Yeah, kind of the forgotten man with last year's Bear Creek Express. I actually wondered with some of the additions that they made in the offseason if he might look elsewhere, but stuck it out and has turned out to be amongst their best hitters here this year other than Galino.
Tied him up again. So Montero settles in. He's retired 7 in a row, but his Glowworm still trail by a run.
Nobody left on base, there were no errors.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Well, it is absolutely, if you missed it earlier, to see Yusuf Davis still in this game. He was hit in the bottom of the first, in the forehead area, by Adam Folkert, the starting pitcher. And Blair, he was in a lot of difficulty for a few minutes.
Oh, it was a very scary moment. I noticed he had a little fist bump with Ryan Bolan as he came out to the batter's box too.
I question whether he should have even stayed in the game. He did. By the end of the inning, he'd scored a run and dove in head first. He didn't need to. There wasn't a throw, but great to see him in the game.
He's an intense guy, too. I mean, we talk about this with Bolan and Winters. Yusuf Davis is an intense player.
Well, he'll represent the United States again coming up in a World Cup Group C, the final stage qualifier, if you will, or event in the middle of September in Oklahoma City. Played for the United States at the 2022 World Cup. And in search of his 4th hit at Softball City. And Schofield right now has it going on. 4 strikeouts for Schofield, and he has only faced 5 batters.
Yeah, you beat me to it. That was going to be the stat I was about to pull out. He's overpowering right now.
This looks a lot like the Schofield I saw at times in Prince Albert, where he had a couple of games with 13 and 12 strikeouts respectively. And it is jumping. Is a swing and a miss from Yusuke Marita. He'll be in Oklahoma City, I'm sure, as well, in the middle of September.
So he was up here in the booth, came up to say hi to
that was him.
Luciano and I the other day, and talked about he's got an event in Mexico with, I'm not sure if it's with the Glowworm or who it's with. He's got an event in Mexico next week. Then he's going to fly home to Japan, and then he'll be back with the team in Oklahoma City September 17th, I think that event is.
It is. Yeah. It's the 17th through the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. 5 days, 6 teams at that glorious facility, Devon Park, the home of the Women's College World Series. A big punch out as the strikeouts continue from the right arm of Justin Schofield.
Yeah, I don't think any doubt about this one. Yeah, clearly went all the way around.
Now batting is left fielder number 11, Alan Salgado.
Alan Salgado has driven in the only Glowworm run with a single to cash in Yusuf Davis back in the bottom of the first. And a swing and a miss on another excellent changeup from the Nova Scotian. And comes right back, Blair, with yet another one for strike 2.
So that's a characteristic of Ryan Bolan. He likes to double up on the changeups. Doesn't do it all the time, but you'll see that once or twice a game. He'll call 2 in a row. Ian Cleary liked to pull that out of the bag.
Let's see if he goes upstairs, up and in here, out of the zone.
Up and out.
And that didn't miss the zone by much either from our vantage point. Certainly a ball. Salgado, 4 for 8 after his base hit and has a couple of runs batted in. Drop ball that time and nearly hit his teammate Gustavo Prischker, who had a big laugh with some of the Glowworm supporters, I would think, by the dugout.
Well, it wasn't as close as the one with the Gremlins the other day where the on-deck batter was right down in the circle, and he scampered over to the opposite side pretty quickly. I don't know why anybody wastes time over there.
No. No, neither.
Just go to the other side.
Neither do I. That one very much up and in, and Salgado able to get out of the road, and the count now is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Salgado has already reached his hit total of the 2023 event in Denmark, Wisconsin with 4.
This Glowworm team has been in the top 10 the last 2 years at the ISC World Tournament. They've got bigger aspirations this year.
That is good discipline to stay off of that. That's a hard pitch to lay off of. But Salgado asking about the count, and he was able to do just that, and a rare full count for Schofield to have to deal with since he entered the game in the first for the injured Adam Folkert.
Well, he and Bolan wanted that pitch on the outside corner, but just off. See from this vantage point. You see Ryan just had to reach just outside the knee pad for that pitch.
Quality at bat to draw the walk by Salgado and sets the table with 2 out for Gustavo Prischker. The third baseman and behind on the drop ball. He's got to be in the low 80s right now, I would think.
Well, you can see it come up on the score bug. And then the latest Luciano innovation, we've added the miles per hour to the video board out here as well.
I don't know how he does it. It has been incredible to get to know him as a person, and he only wears 73 hats. I don't know how to say that in Spanish, but I'm going to learn.
He is a mobile truck unto himself.
Listen, I've been in television and radio for 4 decades, and I've seen people do a lot of multifaceted things. Now, there are nights where I wish he had a little more help, I'll be honest with you, but it is quite spectacular. And Schofield's been pretty spectacular in his own right. Another strikeout for Justin. We're through 3 in this winner's bracket game. It's 2-1 for the Bear Creek Express.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
Just figured out they were on camera just now.
Here's a look at longtime fastball veteran Eli Jules. On your screen, he's trying to pretend as we duck out. Still playing. I think he's
STK.
In the STK, and he's in the 50 neighborhood.
Number 20, left fielder Tommy Inoka.
Thomas Inoka is not. He's 33. Take strike 1 from Max Montero, who's really settled in. There's only been 3 hits. Feels like a lot more has gone on, and I can tell by your reaction that we, as usual, are on the same page.
Well, it's funny. That first inning took 35 minutes to play. We pretty much zipped by in the second and the third here.
Well, there has not been a lot of base runners ever since. Inoka, he grounded out to Guadalupe Ayon, the slick fielding shortstop of the Glowworm from Mexico, as are many of his teammates, and where the team is based out of. Not sure where Ensenada is. Have not spent a lot of my life in the country of Mexico. A couple of visits. Ball and a strike to the longtime New Zealand national team member, Thomas Inoka. As Montero comes in and misses with a drop ball. And the count is now 3-1 as Bear Creek on a 2-run drive by the guy on deck. The reason for the advantage. There's a quality change of pace.
Yeah, drop that one down to 62 miles an hour. Max Montero doesn't throw a lot of them, but that's a great equalizer to throw. And now Tommy's got to think, geez, does he come back with that again? Because it just makes your other stuff look so much better.
See if he comes in with a drop this time. Nope, goes up. I'll stop that. I do enjoy trying to guess pitch sequences, which is interesting for me because it's the only position in the sport that I never played.
Catcher?
Yeah, never.
No.
And yet, if only somebody else could have had the bat be swung in front of their face, I would have loved to have run the show from back there. Like, I was probably born to be a guy who would catch. Not very fast. Always felt like I thought it okay. Loved the games within the game and calling pitches, and I just never liked somebody swinging a bat in front of my face.
It takes a special breed. I did it a little bit, and I'm glad to say that not much in my playing career, because you do get beat up, and we see it with Ryan Bolan and Nick Mullins and so many others, and all of the catchers deserve some special praise.
Well, Montero just told David Galino he remembers what happened the last time he was up. He launched a 2-run homer into the trees. And I'm not being sarcastic. It went in the trees.
Well, that was a home run swing there, too. The uppercut chased after it. I think there might be a rush on pink batting gloves, Peter, after David Galino's performance here in what is already shaping up to be a memorable one here this week.
He's on his way to an all-world team the way he's going right now. He's 5 for 7. He's homered twice, and he has 6 runs batted in. I have a sense this guy might be on the all-world team for a lot of years. And he's already been there, Blair, as you well know.
Yeah, last year.
The second teamer. Ball and 2 strikes. They're going to check. Really coming into his own. Would you suggest that softball prime is still in that 30 to 35 wheelhouse, or has it changed?
I think it's probably a little bit younger than that, especially on the playing side. As Galino gets called out looking here. For pitchers, because of the way the arm rotation goes, you can certainly pitch well into your 30s and 40s, as we've seen, and some guys into their 50s and 60s. Prime time, 25 to 35. I know that's a long time, but maybe you can shorten that to 27 to 32.
I like it. I would seem, and you have such great knowledge, being around the game as long as you have.
I'll tell you this, the players today are so much better conditioned as athletes. I think it's safe to say you can say that
it's
about
in
all
every
sports.
It's everywhere. Absolutely. But you're right, this one is no different. And what's really excited me this year and this week, you know, when I look at Ayon or I look at Ducharme or you think about Nick White, and, you know, I could go on and on, Redemar, Mumu,
Biondi,
young, talented, and with good speed.
Yes. Well, and that we talked about that in the prior game with all the guys that the Gremlins brought off the bench in the final inning. They're all speedsters.
All of them. Well, Ryan Bolan, Captain Canada, and he comes by that for good reason. Ball and 2 strikes. He's off to a nice beginning in the 2024 edition of this tournament. But Max Montero, we talked about Schofield. Well, Montero has struck out 4 straight, and he has 6 in the game. It's really settled in after what could have only been described as a wild and woolly first inning.
He came from Australia with a superstar pedigree. And from his first ISC in 2003, you knew he was going to be something special. 6 times All-World, a 3-time ISC champion, and now the first Aussie inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame. From counting materials and the farm in Wisconsin, to Kitchener, to finding a home in the New York Gremlins colours. Congratulations, Jeff Goolagong, from all of us.
I love to see the kids at the ballpark having a great time. Just brings me nothing but marvelous memories.
And what you see there on the screen is what the crowd here, and it's a good one here at Softball City, what they're seeing on the left field video board as Luciano runs that here from the booth.
Of course he does.
He sent me a text, I don't know, 3-4 days before the World Tournament. He says, "Boss, I need your laptop to run the video board." And I'm thinking, you've already got 7 screens. I'll put it on Twitter. Luciano.
No, it's incredible. Seriously.
Now running 8 screens.
It's
here in the booth.
It's, I don't know how you say silly in Spanish, but it's silly. What he did not need was another screen to run. And you should have watched him here in the Canada Cup, and I felt for him, because not only did he run his 7 screens, he was also right in the middle of video replay situations. This is hit pretty well to left off the bat of Carlos Marquez as we tell the Luciano Lafrano story and get back to softball, and there's one away.
Yeah, that's something we don't have to contend with here is video replay for game situations.
Not yet. Edgar Prischker, the designated player, struck out looking versus Justin Schofield. Came on in relief of Adam Folkert. Nicholas Claus throws it over even though it was a foul ball, and I hope that did not strike someone. It can be a dangerous place, especially with all 4 diamonds in play. Schofield yet to give up a hit. Struck out 6. Came in with a couple out in the first. And gets the outside corner, much to the absolute chagrin of Prischker.
Well, he didn't like the call on him to end the first either, so he's not been a happy camper up there in that left side batter's box.
And he just gave the home plate umpire a glare that would knock a buzzard off a barbed wire fence. Change up, and credit Prischker, Jason Hill trying to hope that it might spin into fair territory. And it wouldn't be the first time, Blair, we've been in this
We've seen that.
Yes, more than once over the last however many months, dating back to tournament we worked in this ballpark, the Canadian Senior Men's Championship in late August, early September, the year 2023.
Well, and we even saw one here earlier this week where it took a left turn.
Great drop ball. And there's strikeout 7 for Justin Schofield. There's always a little part of me in my brain, I don't know why, and I don't think I've gone there in the last 2 days, but there was a California Angel player by the name of Dwight Schofield, and when you've been a broadcaster for a long time, it's weird where your brain will go.
Yeah, the names, the name association.
In fact, I was so mad at myself at the World Qualifier. Matthew Waugh made an incredible catch in left field and called his name correctly, but on the tail out, for some reason, Justin Waugh of hockey came out.
I thought maybe you were going to go to Patrick.
And I knew it had come out, and you just have this absolute sick feeling in your gut when it happens, especially after a great play. I did get it right on the play.
Todd Idenaway just ran down and checked in with the home plate umpire on something. They didn't substitute anybody anywhere, so it wasn't like he was making a late re-entry. I'm not sure what that one was about.
No, Alex Garcia, the batter, and a scoop on the Schofield changeup from Ryan Bolan.
Cleary again down in the bullpen. This is going to be, I think, just the modus operandi for the Bear Creek. When they're out defensively, Cleary's out throwing.
Well, Schofield, the grunt will tell you he might have had a little extra on that rise ball. Garcia got just a piece of it, but into the glove of Bolan for strike 2. So a lot of twos on the board. 22, 2, 2, and 2, and now 3. 3 outs and strike 3. The Justin Schofield show is a good one on this Tuesday night at the 2024 ISC Men's World Tournament.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Colin Walsh, Jason Hill, Miklas Claus. The batters due up for Bear Creek in a game where all the damage, literally and figuratively, was done in the first inning. Have not had a whole lot of anything ever since, Blair.
Well, Bear Creek hasn't had a base runner since the first 9 up, 9 down for Maxi Montero. Since then, started that run with Colin Walsh leading off the second.
And there's only been, by my count, one base runner for the Glowworm. That was a walk issued in the third.
I would concur.
Colin Walsh, another national team member at the most recently played World Cup in 2022. Versatile. He can give you some innings, too, in terms of pitching, if you really needed it. Now, the ruling here, Blair, you can only use 3 guys, period?
It's the first 3 guys you can use in the World Tournament. So, Adam Folkert, Justin Schofield, and Sean Cleary are those 3.
So they couldn't throw Walsh even if they wanted to?
No. The only way Walsh could potentially be used would be if Adam is legitimate, not saying he's faking an injury, don't get me wrong. If Adam is injured, they can make a hardship appeal to replace Adam with Walsh, for example, as their third pitcher, but then Folkert would be ineligible to pitch for the remainder of the tournament. You couldn't go back then to Adam after you used Walsh.
3 balls and 2 strikes, and Walsh draws a leadoff walk to start the top of the 5th. And you know, Bear Creek, who have plans of going a long, long way in this tournament, would love a little bit more insurance if possible. This a good Glowworm team they're playing, and you can fully understand why, Blair. They've been in the top 10 neighborhood the last couple of years.
And lots of improvements to this Glowworm team.
Quick throw down from Garcia.
They had a shot there at Walsh. And here's another guy who plays with a bit of an edge.
Yeah, you're talking about Walsh.
About Walsh and Mike Morrissey stepping in. And I don't know if that was anything to get excited about, but a little bit of contact as he slid back into the bag. But Mike Morrissey was pretty quick to step in between.
Well, Mike is not only a terrific umpire, he's a great student of the game. It makes him a good umpire. So he's well aware of how everyone conducts their business.
Yeah, he knows what's going on out there.
Prischker touches that in foul territory before it might have had a chance to make its way back fair off the bunt attempt of Jason Hill. Jason struck out. Montero has 6 of those. He had 3 in succession before 4, in fact, in a row prior to walking Walsh to start this inning. 2-1, final winner's bracket game of the day. We'll have 2 more tomorrow in the round of 8. I don't know if you officially call it that or if there is an official terminology.
I've always liked the Elite 8, but no, we don't really have an official name for it. We should trademark something. Can we do that?
I like the, well, you're the boss. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, the Elite 8 of the winner's bracket, that you have to.
You have to qualify that for sure.
You do have to qualify it. You know, I was calling the game very earlier today at 9. Great game, actually, between Kegel and the Sydney Tropics. And for one of the first times in my lifetime, it struck me. Could we call it something different than the loser's bracket?
It's funny, in the program they called it the redemption bracket.
I don't know if I'm in love with that either, but I might like it a little bit better than the losers bracket. And I mean, that's been a familiar refrain of these style of formats and tournaments for a long time. I don't know why. It just kind of struck me today as Hill goes down on a nice drop ball for out number 1.
Yeah, we all know what it is and what it represents, but words seem to have sometimes more meaning today than in the past. Could we call it the repechage round?
The repechage round. That's not a bad one.
There's a word that I only had ever heard in
rowing.
Olympic rowing, exactly.
I agree with you.
But it has crept into...
including this sport.
International softball now. The repechage round.
Yes, at the World Cup
qualifiers.
Group stage qualifiers. They don't even like the word qualifier necessarily in that group. Talk about punching tickets. But the second playoff game to punch the ticket is the repechage playoff game. The first one is the 1-2 playoff game. But that's such a great point you make. That was the only place in sport we ever heard that terminology, repechage, was in the come from behind in rowing. Now it's all over the place.
Yeah, the first time I heard repechage outside of Olympic rowing was earlier this year.
Tyler Pauli is the pinch hitter, and there are lots of good options, I might add, on the Bear Creek Express bench, including national team member Pauli, who makes an appearance here with 1 on and 1 out, ball and a strike in the top of the 5th in this important 2-1 winners bracket clash in the Elite 8.
Well, here's a guy who already has, at his tender age, 2 ISC batting titles, most recently in 2021.
He's 29. He's from Mitchell, Ontario. 5 for 17, and that's an owie for Pauli. 2018 All-World member. Played for his country in Prince Albert in a World Cup WBSC group stage event in Prince Albert. Also participated for Canada in the 2022 and 2019 World Cups. That's been a very good pitch to left-handed batters in particular in the game for Montero. That rise up and in that really ties lefties in a knot.
Yeah, tough to lay off that pitch. It's got that late elevation.
And another lefty and 24-year-old Nova Scotia product, Jordan Pomroy, looking to get his bat in good stead. And he came up and in on him as well with pitch number 1. Jordan has great speed in the outfield. He'll turn 25 on October the 16th. He does have a hit and a run batted in. It came against Ostrander.
And he's got some clout in the back, too.
On the run is Walsh, and that is some tag put on by Guadalupe Aon. Soft hands to take the short hop and apply the tag.
So he's got to catch that and then bring it down, drops it right on the thigh of Colin Walsh. But don't undersell the catcher in that spot too, Alex Garcia, because he had a short hop to contend with and had to make the throw. Good defense all the way around for Glowworm.
Glowworm to bat in the bottom half of the 5th inning on the ISC network.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
Ladner, British Columbia, not far. See that? Nice hat.
Nor was Seattle on the shirt. Couple-hour drive.
It's a nice spot, too. We're in an awfully nice spot. And 4 minutes from here? Have you been down there yet?
Yeah, we went to White Rock last year.
That's right, we did. Sorry, I've been here so often in the last 12 months. I forget who I took there, who I haven't. I haven't been down there yet.
Not this week. No, tomorrow we might have an opportunity to do something, but we've been 16 hours at the park for the last 3 days.
Yeah, I've been a little bit more fortunate than Joe and Blair with all their ISC meetings that I'm not involved in. And I'm okay with that, to be honest. Although I was here early this morning. A lot of fun, and it's been really a pleasure to work with you guys.
Well, you guys were a champ, you and Luciano and Carol D'Areste, for taking on that 9 a.m. assignment. That was a game we wanted to bring everybody because it was an important ISC losers bracket game with Fargo and Sydney Tropics. And you got a good one, too, a 1-0 ball game.
Yeah, it lasted about an hour and 25 minutes. Josh Pettit against Harrison Peters is Guadalupe Aon. A ground out to a pretty sure-handed second baseman in Brandon Horn to begin the bottom of the 5th inning.
Toronto Batmen were also involved in a 9 a.m. game this morning. And those two, prior to the games tonight, were the only 4 in total ISC World Tournament games here today on the schedule. The bulk of the play has been ISC 2, as 20 teams in total were taken down to the ISC 2 bracket this year. And the reason that was done, and full credit to Rich Haldane for this, there were 4 to 6 teams every year who, by quirk of the bracket, might only get 3 games at the World Tournament. And that had happened for the last few years, and Rich overhauled the bracket in the off season. And we took the initiative to get 20 teams into ISC 2 and keep teams playing here. You're flying all the way out here.
Spending a lot of money.
A lot of money and a lot of time. You're getting the value, if you want to look at it from that economic perspective.
Emiliano Soriano, or Solorio, pardon me, is the batter. Wonder if he's any relation to Jordan.
Brother, says Luciano.
If you need to know anything about players from that part of the world, see, there's another skill. Runs the cameras, the screens, all 9 of them, and the background on the Spanish-speaking players. I mean, what more could you want? No wonder he calls his company Softball Premier TV. That's a ground out, by the way, from the other Solorio, not to be confused with brother Jordan,
who we'll see tomorrow night with the Northeast Drillers.
He is a talented outfielder.
And their mom is here this week.
Yusuf Davis. Almost seemed like maybe Brandon Horn lost that in the lights.
I have to think that he lost it somewhere, certainly, whether in the lights or took his eye off it to worry about the lip of the grass. But it seemed to go in between his glove and his head.
It's exactly what happened as we get another peek at it. So I just
Boy, I was mystified by that because you just don't see Brandon Horn muffed like that.
No, you don't. And Yusuf Davis, who was hit in the forehead way back in the bottom of the first inning, and still somewhat amazed that he stayed in the game. Actually, I believe was just credited for a hit.
Yeah, I was looking at the scoreboard. They gave him a hit because there's now 2 apiece in this game. This is not far off last night's game between Fargo and JB, where hits were few and far between.
How'd you like your first look at Micah Pimentel in person?
Whoa, that was an impressive display. Donnie Atkinson from Grand Prairie came up just to say hi to the two of us after their game immediately preceding this one, and he said he watched it on TV last night, and he said you can't even see it.
It was something. I highly anticipated it after watching him earlier this year at a qualifier on video from Mexico. And you could tell 2 pitches in that I remember turning it on, watching 2 pitches and going, which I have a tendency to shout at the top of my lungs at home by myself, who is this guy?
Luciano has been telling me about Micah Pimentel for the last 2 years because Luciano goes down, of course, and does tournaments in Venezuela in the North American off-season, and we won't talk about the bus crash and remind Luciano about that. But he's been telling me about Micah Pimentel for the last 2 years.
Well, he's not wrong. Oh, so add scout to his
Yes,
other
to his resume,
to the Lafrano resume. It's a good
and player agent too, because he lines up guys for that. What's the big tournament down there? The Cafe Americano, or yes, that one.
Well, Yusuke Morita from Japan swings and misses 2-2 as we get back to the ball game. And it's a good one. Yusuf Davis at first on a odd hit. That's the only way to describe it, that eluded the glove of Brandon Horn. And he is certainly a threat to run, especially in a count like this. Doesn't. Justin Schofield has been at his best and has 9 strikeouts. We're through 5 on the ISC network. Jordan Pomroy back at home plate. That's where he was when the top of the 5th came to an end as a result of The steal attempt by Colin Walsh and the throw from Garcia to shortstop Guadalupe Ayon that ended the inning. Pomroy, a threat to bunt. He can play small ball. He can play long ball. From Placentia, Newfoundland.
Yeah, you wouldn't think, looking at Jordan Pomroy in the box, home run threat doesn't immediately come to mind.
No, it doesn't. Marquez barely had to move and steps on first without number one. Hits have been at a premium. There have only been 4 in the game total. And I think we've only had 1 since the bottom of the first inning.
That, again, would be an accurate assessment.
Wow, 2 for 2 today. That's a big...
Oh
my goodness. Well, fortunately, unlike the Yusef Davis incident, or scare, more than an incident, back in the first, this one caught almost all helmet of Brandon Horn.
Yeah. And he's got the face guard, which I wish more guys wore. And I was a guy who wore the Dave Winfield type hat for a number of years until I wised up and went to the double ear flap. And I'd like to see more guys wearing the face guard too.
So Horn hit by a pitch. Jones could be 2. That's a quick release from Marquez.
And they're calling him out on the tag because they had to tag him. He came down on the bag.
I wonder if they're going to get together and talk about it.
I think he's going to get overruled here by the home plate umpire, Mark Corus. He's come out here with a purpose. And maybe Dave Harrington, who's the third base umpire, maybe he didn't see that Prischker came down on or Carlos Marquez, rather, came down on the bag.
That's exactly what occurred.
Yeah.
Blair, I don't think there's any doubt about it. He thought it was a force when he made the out call.
Yeah, and they get together and they got it right, and ultimately that's what you want.
That's great umpiring right there. Terrific umpiring. Nice work, gents.
Yeah, and Mark Corus taking charge. He's the home plate umpire. Great work there, guys.
Now at the plate for Express, left fielder number 20.
So a couple of ground outs in the inning to Marquez. He snapped that. I didn't really think there was an opportunity to make that even close.
No, it's a real good throw.
But he did. And so in scoring position for the batter, Thomas Inoka, who's more than capable of delivering a key hit. He's 0 for 2 tonight, grounded out to short and struck out. Against Montero, who's had another excellent outing back-to-back, 9 innings against Circle Tap in his last, and now tonight against this very good Bear Creek Express team. Glowworm can't ask for much more from him than what they have received.
Needs to get out of the 6th unscathed here and then go to work in their last 2 at-bats. Schofield, however, boy, the way he's been throwing, that one run looks pretty big.
Change up and a gem from Max Montero. Doesn't this feel like an awfully big moment?
It feels like a playoff game. The atmosphere here tonight, we've got a good crowd that stuck around for the night game.
Inoka fights that off. Came in tight, in on his hands, but able to send it out of play. The 33-year-old from New Zealand, Thomas Inoka.
And Greg Leather made, the context really doesn't matter. It was the comment that I'll share. Greg talked about this is the playoff round for everybody here. This is the tournament that everybody prepares for. This is the playoffs. And then the winner's bracket, as it narrows down to the sharp end, it's almost like everyone is a Game 7.
Oh, Montero grabs his head in disbelief. he was halfway to the dugout. He can't believe that wasn't strike 3. It's not an easy job back there.
Montero's got to recollect himself here because you can make a mistake here now due to your anger.
And if you do, it's game over. And he didn't get that pitch either. So now he's really going to have to take a couple of deep breaths.
Well, look at the guy coming to the plate here, too, in this situation. 2 runners aboard. David Galino, if you're a Bear Creek fan, this is the guy you want at the plate. And this is a very well-timed mound visit by the staff.
Is it ever? Just needs to settle everybody down, and none more so than his pitcher. Everybody's staring at home plate, wearing black. David Galino has supplied a 2-run homer. And it's not even fair to call that one a no-doubter. Clobbered into the trees in the top of the first inning. I would have liked to have had a tape measure on that one. That had to be 300 plus, and they're going to put him on.
Yeah, that's probably the right decision. You get a force at all of the bases, and especially with the catcher coming up.
Isn't this the ultimate respect for a hitter? You're actually going to put someone in scoring position to do it.
Yeah, you move them 60 feet closer, so now you got to be a little finer. You can't have a wild pitch or a pass ball because there's an acre of room in behind home plate to the fence. So, ultimate respect being paid here to David Galino. He and Garcia are having a chuckle in between pitches here. I will say that, Peter, this is the last year you'll see this in the ISC. It was voted on today at the Board of Directors meeting to go to the automatic walk. You'll waggle the 4 fingers, and Daniel, I'm of 2 minds on it. I've liked this for a number of years, but once in the last 10 years have we ever seen somebody jump out and hit one that was too close to the plate.
I've seen more trouble over a lifetime with balls actually being spilled rather than hit. Ryan Bolan, can he take advantage? A strike on the inner half to the Bear Creek catcher. As Galino walked intentionally to load the bases. Top of the 6th and a 2-1 Bear Creek lead in this Elite 8 winners bracket game. Drills it to left, and it's a base hit. And it will score maybe 3. Here comes Galino. A bases loaded clearing double by Ryan Bolan.
Just a tiny bobble out in left field. That was enough for David Galino to race all the way around and score from first. Ryan Bolan has gone to join the celebration at the dugout as he'll get David Galino to come right back out, almost an encore appearance, the 2-out catcher rule.
A massive hit by the guy they call Captain Canada. Ryan Bolan slashes one to left out of the reach of Alan Salgado, who couldn't quite get to it. And that blows this one wide open. It is 5-1.
No bigger hit for Ryan Bolan in Bear Creek right now, and comes back to haunt Max Montero. That call, he's out of the inning.
Well, the call, and you can't really blame them, but the decision, in a sense, to put Galino on backfired too.
It backfired, but
I'm not really questioning it.
I think it was the right call, but that That's one of the consequences when you walk somebody to get the bases loaded, is that somebody might come up with a base hit.
And drive in 3. As Galino came, there was never a doubt he was going to try to score.
Yeah, Todd Adenoway could have thrown up the biggest stop sign in the world. I think he was going to blow through it right there.
Well, you'd need to be on 152nd here. They could stop anything. Oh, did I say that out loud? Little wee bit of construction on the way back to the hotel. I couldn't help it. Colin Walsh trying to add more to the advantage. Ryan Bolan now up to 4 hits in the tournament and 5 runs batted in.
And Peter, remember, this is a team that struggled offensively all year long. They've put up 2 5 spots and a 10 spot, 20 runs in the first 2 3/4 games.
They've done the damage on 2 big hits tonight, a 2-run homer and a 3-run double. As Walsh takes down. And you're right, Blair. How important was the call prior to Galino? It happens. Anoka drew the walk. Intentional walk and whammo. 2-1 became 5. Montero slipped and fell, but it didn't prevent him from ending the inning with a rise ball that Walsh missed. Damage done. Glowworm in a big hole now in this winner's bracket game.
3 runs on 1 hit. 1 runner left on base, 2 unawares.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner, offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide.
Ryan Bolan, a crucial 3-run double. He can't wipe the smile off his face, or that gentleman.
No.
He might be a Bolan fan.
Ryan, and we noticed it, Peter, had a spring in his step as he walked out to the meeting on the mound prior to the inning getting underway. The smile, which you don't see often from Ryan mid-game.
Alan Salgado, who is involved in that key play off the bat of Bolan, he just couldn't quite track down the tailing away liner in left that scored 3 runs, and it's turned 2-1 into 5-1 as Bear Creek finds themselves 6 outs away from making it into the final 4 in the winner's bracket. And it's been a bit of a wait now for Schofield to come back into the game.
Yeah, it's a bit of a longer inning.
He's allowed only 1 hit, and an odd one that frankly could have just as easily been scored an error as it was a hit. So it's not like anybody's hit a ball very hard off him since he replaced Adam Folkert all the way back. The 5th batter of the game is when he came in. And he's still throwing with plenty of heat and purpose. 9 strikeouts for Schofield.
Bolan didn't even wait for the call. He was firing that down to third. He knew that he was going to get the strike call there. That was pretty much right down, what are we on, 124th Street?
Yes.
148th?
Something like that. I know the route. I don't always know the streets. I know that's a 10th strikeout. And I know before too long, somebody wearing black and purple might not hang around much longer. Don't be surprised if someone's temper is lost in the next couple of innings. They're still hot at the Glowworm dugout in regards to a pitch to Thomas Anoka that was not called a strike. And what ensued? An intentional walk and a 3-run double. Part of the game, but they won't forget on one side.
No.
That's for sure.
No.
And it was close. And we had a couple of peeks at it. It was close. Ball and 2 strikes. Beauty of a changeup. Schofield has most certainly brought his best in this game. And now facing first baseman Carlos Marquez, who has struck out and lined out to left. He's probably made the best contact of anyone, and it wasn't a screamer out there.
No, that's as close as they've come to squaring up anything off of Schofield here tonight. He really has been lights out since coming on with 2 outs in the first.
Yeah, he's given them an elite performance. Didn't start. Adam Folkert, the legend, did. Was uncomfortable really from pitch 1. He hit Yusuf Davis right in the forehead, the game's first batter. That was unsettling. Well, Marquez not even going to bother.
I think that tells you everything about the mindset right now, the Glowworm. They have been set back a lot.
I'm going to use one word, dejected. Down 4 to the top of the 7th we go.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill in the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at deankane16@gmail.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Jeff Lyons makes an appearance. We understand that he has struggled a little bit with an injury. He came in defensively. In fact, he took care of the ground ball that Marquez did not bother to run out that ended the bottom of the 6th. As Lyons into the game to face Max Montero. who has given his team a great outing in its own right. He's only surrendered 3 hits himself and struck out 9. Lions batting for Jason Hill, who he replaced at first in the previous half inning.
Yeah, a bit of a defensive switch. Jeff in for Jason, but also as I looked at my scorecard, Peter, at the end of the last inning, as I turned it over, 4 Ks between Jason Hill and Miklas Claus / Tyler Pauli. So the 7 and 8 spots, bit of a tough go here for the Bear Creek guys tonight. So giving Lyons, who's hit the ball well much of the season for the Express, unfortunate that he came in injured. He might have been in the starting 9 otherwise.
Yeah, Jeff's 32. He's from Appin, Ontario. Made his Canadian national team debut in Prince Albert. He was part of that 16-player group. He was primarily coming off the bench. Had a couple of hits. And you see the Canadian flag on his left sleeve. Although I think on their uniform, maybe everybody's
got that, yeah.
Other teams' uniforms, you have your own country there. As Lyons becomes the 10th strikeout victim of Max Montero. So if it stays this way, the Glowworm would fall into the repechage bracket. No, you knew I was going to do it.
The repechage round, yeah.
I like repechage round better than bracket. Miklas Claus from Czechia, number 96.
Something in the water about Czechia players. They're all giants.
Yes, they are. Hola Braddock.
Jonas Heine.
Lasichka is
I was just
fairly
going to say
tall.
Jakub Lasichka, or Kubo Lasichka rather, who came on for the Gremlins in the previous game. He's a big lad.
Yeah, you're right. Ball and a strike to Claus. Is Montero given the outside corner, and he almost had a look like, oh,
now
thanks,
I
now?
Yeah, where was that an inning ago? That's the sarcasm. I guarantee you.
It sure looked like it, didn't it?
Through his mind.
That's what his body language looked like to me. Oh, and really good pitch. Ties Claus up in a knot.
Well, we noted earlier he threw that inside rise ball to lefties, but he works one in here on the righties as well. Right up over the hands. Hard to handle that.
Yeah, he's been superb through 9 innings to upend, circle tap the Dukes, who I believe had a date tomorrow with the Ostrander Norsemen. That'll be a good battle.
Yeah, we'll be bringing that game to you, as well as the AWP Waterdown Hammer matchup tomorrow afternoon. The games at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. I'm not sure which is which, but those are the games that are 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And then 6 and 8, the bottom half, or the other half, if you will, of the Elite 8. Is that what we're going with, the Elite 8? We
sure.
With that one?
You're the boss. I mentioned that earlier. You like Elite. I like Elite. It's fine. We're going to go that way. Jordan Pomroy would like to find his way elitely on base. Something he has not been able to do tonight. He's flown out to left and grounded out to first. The New York Gremlins, the first team, the reigning champions, to advance into the winners bracket Final Four with their 13-1 triumph in 5 over the Grand Prairie Pirates in the game that preceded this one. Hill United and JB and the Northeast Drillers and the Oma Tigre tomorrow night. That's 6 and 8 in the other two winners bracket Elite 8 games. Looking forward to all of those tomorrow.
How would Marco Diaz versus Miker Pimentel work?
Fast.
I'd like to see that.
Maybe we will.
Jeff Ellsworth, if you're listening, make that happen for us.
Well, he has the power. I'm pretty sure we're going to get the guy from Venezuela. I
have no doubt about that.
I don't think you need more than one wager on that one.
Yeah, I talked to Bob Berger the other day, and that's the guy they want to go with. They're quite happy with Juan Colombo, too. Don't get us wrong, but they think they've got something special in Pimentel.
17 strikeouts last night. Change up, fouled away. Pomroy having a nice at-bat in a full count with 2 outs, 2 runs in the first on a David Galino blast, and then a 3-run Ryan Bolan double to clear the bases in the 6th. The reason for the 5-1 Bear Creek Express lead in a game where there's only been 5 hits total. Even though some of the innings have been lengthy. Pomroy on his way to the dugout, not to first. Well, Max Montero might not win this game, but he gave his team a terrific performance. Back with the bottom of the 7th.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Bottom of the 7th inning. It will require a large rally by the Glowworm out of Ensenada, Mexico, formerly San Antonio. And they'll send Edgar Prishker, Alex Garcia, although I see a pinch hitter potentially in the on-deck circle, and potentially Guadalupe Ayon. And that's a good way to start. Prishker off of Schofield, just the second hit that Justin has given up, and that's arguably the hardest hit ball.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say the same thing. That's the first one that anybody has squared up off of Schofield here tonight.
And we're going to see the third Prishker. There's Gustavo, there is Edgar, and there is Kevin. And Kevin's coming in to pinch hit for catcher Alex Garcia.
At the plate for Glowworm, number 10, Kevin.
And if you're Schofield and Bear Creek, what you're really interested in is outs. You have more than enough runs. You want an out. Don't want any big rally to start to get on a roll. Schofield, I think, throwing as hard as he has all night long. Kevin Prischker is 0 for 3 so far this week. All those at-bats came in the 9-inning 2-1 victory against Circle Tap. Change up. And a dandy to run the count to a ball and 2 strikes. Bear Creek looking to take another step in the winner's bracket. They spent a lot of time in the winner's bracket last year.
Their only loss last year, the ISC championship game.
Schofield sits down Kevin Prischker with his 12th strikeout of the game.
Well, this is some serious gas from Schofield. Well, that's the base hit.
Now batting shortstop number 43, Guadalupe Ayon.
Guadalupe Ayon. The slick fielding shortstop popped out to center, grounded out to second. In need of a hit. When you're down by a bunch, runners are a must. Any way they can get on board. You know Flores can run. And he had a good twist on that Schofield pitch. And you're right, he looks like he may be digging even deeper into that bag for a little extra.
Yeah, I think the adrenaline is pumping out there right now for Schofield. You just got to keep that under control. Don't get out too far over your skis.
Well, the 0-2 pitch. Ayon stayed alive with another quality cut. And now Schofield looking to collect himself behind the circle. Would you throw change here?
Off the plate,
yes. Yeah. Yes, I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, you don't want to hang anything, of course, at this point.
And
but
not
if
to
you can get him to chase 0-2, sure.
Not to the number 8 guy. He didn't chase that. He crushed it. They're back in the game.
Wow.
Walloped. Guadalupe Ayon. Well, he was close on the last 2 swings. This one was absolutely tattooed. And it's 5-3, and we're not done yet. My goodness.
Look how far that ball went.
Not sure who's went farther, Galino's or this one.
Tommy Onoka just turned. Never thought about giving chase.
And why would you? My goodness, what a wallop. So the first real mistake for Schofield. And it's turned into a game again. 1 out. The number 9 hitter in Flores, the batter. And he was able to check his swing. 5-3. Don't go away. It started in interesting fashion. Maybe it will end that way too. Cleary is warming again. And this is blasted up the middle.
Well, hitting is contagious, and they've caught it in the Glowworm dugout. Started with the hard hit single by Edgar Prischker. Guadalupe Ayon. Wow. Still marveling at that. But here's Todd Adenoway, and I think Sean Cleary is going to get pressed into service here.
And this is not an area that he's always that comfortable in, correct?
Does not like to be coming into games, especially mid-inning. Sean's a starter. That's the mentality that he's got. Todd Adenoway and Justin Schofield are going to have a private conversation here. Cleary will continue to warm up. But now we're back to the top of the shop. And Yusuf Davis, who reached on that fluke single, I don't have a better word for it other than fluke single, over the head of Brandon Horn. But momentum right now squarely on the side of the Glowworm.
So the 2-run blast by Aon, followed by a hard hit liner into center off the bat of Flores, his first hit. And now it's Davis.
Oh, and falling behind again, too. Schofield has worked almost exclusively ahead of the batters until this inning.
Now you really need to dig into the bag. This will help. And look at Schofield, make sure he came over to cover the bag, even though Lyons was only a couple of steps away.
Yeah,
you think he's engaged?
Yeah.
He almost might be too engaged.
I talked about that earlier, right? Don't get too far over your skis. Keep the emotions in check. But this is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve.
He loves it. It is. It's hard. It's so hard when it means so much. And it means you don't need many visits with this gentleman to know what this sport and doing well in it means to him. Well, he got one big out. See if he can get another. Pool cued foul off the bat of Japanese national team member Yusuke Morita. Didn't think it would be quite like this in the bottom of the 7th.
This was not the bottom of the 7th that I was anticipating, that's for sure.
Guadalupe Aon, not only can he field, we just saw that he's got a lot of pop in that frame that can't be more than about $165.
Well, in answer to a question that I had in my head about the young man, there's a lot of guys with flashy gloves, but you do have to be able to hit too. And it looks like he certainly can do that as well.
That was something. A strike to Morita. And the drop ball misses, down and away. Morita has an interesting approach. If you watch his back arm, it's not exactly stable.
It's vibrating.
It does vibrate. It's an odd way to approach an at-bat.
Strike away.
It's not quite his Japanese national team buddy Toriyama, but it's not far from. We'll see him tomorrow with the Oma Tigre. Down to their last strike indeed. Game over.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the ball game. Bear Creek Express wins it 5-2.
Schofield, almost untouchable, was until the 7th, gave up the 2-run blast and then recovered to get 2 big outs after another single. Started in quite a manner and ended that way too, Blair.
Yeah, it was a heck of a beginning and a solid ending to this game. That's why you want to stick around to the very end. Don't go away. And make sure you come back tomorrow, too.
Indeed. We'll have 4 good ones for you. Starting at 1 o'clock with a couple in the repechage round or the losers bracket that you might be more familiar with. The New York Gremlins and the Bear Creek Express, they're back in the winners bracket Final 4 after big wins tonight. For Blair Setford, Joe Todd, Luciano Lafrano, Carl Dureste, Marvin the Music Man, all the fans, the flags, the ballpark. Good night, everybody.
For the latest in ball innovation, we experience the best tournaments in the Americas.
Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more.
The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com. Live it on Softball Premier.
Well hit, deep right field. It's curving. This one, well hit to deep right field this time, and that one is gone. Trying to put it away is Jack Bettsgrove. The New York Gremlins are world champions.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Start spreading the news, Joe Todd. It's New York, New York.